across the cold depths of the ocean, the orca emerges like a warrior of the shadows. There is no need for chaos to display overwhelming power. Every turn, every silent formation becomes part of a calculated survival strategy. The moment prey or another predator falls out of rhythm, the pursuit is over in seconds. What makes the orca such an enduring symbol of power in the ocean? Orcas are among the most intelligent predators in the ocean, known for memory, communication, and coordinated group behavior. An adult can weigh around 12,000 pounds. From icy waters to the open sea, each orca group develops its own way of surviving, passed down through generations. They do not dominate through chaos, but through discipline, observation, and silent unity beneath the waves. The great white shark has long stood as a symbol of fear in the ocean. An adult carries a streamlined body stretching over 20 feet, sharp teeth, and an astonishingly sensitive sense of smell. With the ability to detect electrical signals from prey, it seems almost built to dominate cold and temperate waters. When that silhouette appears, many marine creatures immediately change their course. But in front of orcas, that power is no longer absolute. From the deeper water, the pod emerges like precise black and white shadows, calm and imposing. They use sound, formation, and coordination to identify a lone target, then gradually close the distance. At around 30 feet long, an orca is not only larger, but also formidable because of its hunting intelligence. Instead of rushing into chaos, each individual circles, controls direction, and watches the shark's response. When the moment arrives, pressure from below can turn the shark over, placing it into a temporary stillness known as tonic immobility. The goal is not to prolong the encounter, but to end the strategy with cold coordination. The reward is often a rich source of energy, giving the pod a powerful reason to take such a calculated risk. In the ocean, the greatest power is not found only in teeth, but in the intelligence to read an opponent. Silence is sometimes only a thin surface hiding danger. For a seal, floating ice is the final distance between its body and the deep ocean. To survive in cold water, it carries a layer of blubber nearly 2.5 inches thick, helping it retain heat and store energy. This rich source of fat makes seals an important target for some orca populations. When hunting, orcas look for individuals resting on ice. The ice floe seems like a solid shelter, separated from the sea, giving the seal a sense of safety. But the remarkable minds beneath the water turn that very distance into a weakness. The whole pod studies the wind direction, the size of the ice, and the position of the prey before forming a parallel line. When the signal comes, they accelerate together from about 50 feet away, driving a large wave straight towards the edge of the ice. The force of the water shakes the flow, causing the seal to lose balance and search for stable footing again. If it does not work, the orcas repeat the attempt. In some observations, they can create up to about 7 waves, gradually breaking down the ice before the prey slips into the water. This technique is known as wave washing, a behavior learned across many hunting seasons, though it does not appear in all orcas. That is why the orca is considered one of the most remarkable minds in the ocean, able to learn, adapt, and turn water itself into a precise tool for survival. If dolphins symbolize speed, sharp awareness, and freedom across the open sea, orcas represent organized power. Dolphins live in flexible communities, communicate through sound, coordinate while feeding, and can burst past 20 miles per hour. That precise rhythm of movement makes them the silver arrows of the ocean. But in front of orcas, even agility is pushed to its limit. Off the Pacific coast, a pod of orcas moves like predators ruling the surface. Led by the largest matriarch, they detect a pod of dolphins ahead and immediately split into 2 lines of approach. One group follows from behind, applying pressure and forcing the dolphins to keep accelerating. The other circles ahead, gradually closing off the escape route like an ocean door beginning to shut. As the dolphin formation starts to break apart, young or isolated individuals can fall away from the protection of the group. One of the most experienced orcas launches from the water. A powerful close-range surge through the white water overwhelms the prey for a brief moment. In some situations, this behavior is not only part of hunting, but also a practical lesson for younger members of the pod. In the ocean, orcas do not dominate through chaos. They dominate through discipline, memory, and the strength of an entire family line. Humpback whales are known as the giant singers of the ocean. An adult can weigh nearly 80,000 pounds, with pectoral fins almost 15 feet long, like 2 enormous paddles. They are not easily pressured. Their massive bodies, flexible turning ability, and instinct to protect their young make every encounter a prolonged challenge. Across vast migration routes, orcas remember the stretches of water where mother whales often travel with their calves. These are usually narrow passages where turbulent currents make a steady swimming rhythm harder to maintain. When the pod detects a mother and calf ahead, the orcas approach and gradually tighten the space around them. They take turns applying pressure from different directions, with every movement carrying a purpose. The The mother whale responds with defensive strength. She turns her body, uses her long pectoral fins to block the approach, and keeps the calf close beside her. Each time the orcas move in, the surface grows tense and unsettled. Within the turbulent water, one precise diagonal surge widens the distance between mother and calf for a brief moment. Once the protective formation is disrupted, the advantage shifts toward the orcas. In the ocean, survival is sometimes decided by memory, maternal instinct, and every swimming rhythm that cannot afford to fall out of place. Along the cold coastlines around the sub-Antarctic islands and Patagonia, the boundary between sand, surf, and deep water can be only a few feet wide. For South American sea lions, this is a place to rest, warm in the sun, and raise their young with the rhythm of the tides. An adult male can weigh more than 600 pounds, enough to make many predators cautious. But for orcas, the sea lion is a worthy challenge. From offshore, the pod studies the tide, the slope of the beach, and the position of the target. When the opportunity appears, one orca accelerates, slides half of its body onto the shore by momentum, then quickly returns to deeper water. This technique is known as intentional stranding. Using the force of the waves, the orca can exceed 30 miles per hour, surging almost half its body onto the shallow beach. Its solid head creates a powerful close-range impact, causing the target to lose momentum for a brief moment. Immediately after, it beats its tail, turns its body, and slides back into the sea. Even a slight mistake could leave it trapped on the sand. Offshore, some orcas also use a different technique with stingrays. This species has a long tail with dangerous venom and often hides close to the seafloor. Once the target reveals its position, the orca needs only one precise glide to bring the encounter under control. That is why the orca is not only powerful, but also a strategist that turns terrain into a survival advantage. Across the blue highways of the Pacific, gray whales carry out one of the ocean's most enduring migrations. Each year, they often swim more than 10,000 miles, leaving the cold northern seas for the warm lagoons near Baja California. An adult can reach around 45 feet in length, but during breeding season, that strength is devoted mainly to protecting the calf. On the return journey, the mother whale keeps the calf close to her side, using her massive body to shield against waves, maintain swimming rhythm, and cross open water. But in narrow passages or turbulent swells, orcas begin to appear in the distance. They follow carefully, observing swimming direction, spacing, and the moments when the mother whale is forced to change pace. When the opportunity comes, the orca formation separates into multiple lines of approach. One group applies pressure from the front, while another controls movement from behind, forcing the mother whale to constantly reposition herself. The ocean surface churns white, yet beneath it lies disciplined coordination. Some observations have recorded more than 17 orcas taking part in a single encounter of this kind. Wolves relentlessly pressure their target with wave after wave of pursuit. The pack moves like a coordinated storm, rapidly closing the distance. Sudden changes in direction gradually erase every chance of escape. Even other predators remain cautious when the wolves begin to accelerate. And as the chase reaches its peak, which side will finally give in first? If caribou symbolize migration, then bison represent the enduring giants of the North American plains. They are the largest land mammals on the continent, with adult males weighing more than 1,000 pounds and carrying massive muscle structure, along with curved horns reaching nearly 2 feet in length. For wolves, bison are not easy targets, but a relentless test between pack strategy and raw power. During the Yellowstone winter, the howl of the lead wolf echoes across the frozen landscape, signaling the beginning of another search for food. More than 20 wolves move in formation under the guidance of experienced pack leaders. As deep snow makes grass increasingly difficult to reach, the bison spend longer periods feeding and gradually become less alert. That is when the wolves begin selecting older and weaker adults as potential targets. No reckless charge takes place. The wolves spread out, maintain distance, and constantly shift direction to test the reactions of their target. The bison immediately turn to face the threat, lowering their heads and using bodies weighing over 1,000 pounds like living barriers. One sudden movement from horns nearly 12 inches long can force a predator backward in an instant. But as exhaustion slowly drains the target's strength, the wolves begin relying on coordinated pressure and precise timing. Even an attempted rescue from another bison unintentionally disrupts the herd's formation, creating the critical moment the wolves had been waiting for. Another encounter becomes even more intense when a young bison falls behind while crossing a river. Behind it, the wolves surge through the water with remarkable swimming ability, applying steady pressure as the young animal struggles to keep pace with the herd. But the bond between mother and calf on the plains is not easily broken. The mother quickly turns back, placing herself between the young bison and the pursuing predators. The mother's powerful defensive response forces the wolves to retreat. And this time, the pack's hunting strategy gives way to the mother's successful defense. Wolves may fail in a single encounter, but they rarely abandon an entire hunting season. Because in nature, victory does not always belong to the strongest, but to the species that knows when to wait for the right moment. Beneath the Arctic sky, where temperatures can fall close to -40 degrees Fahrenheit, the survival of wolf pups depends on the discipline and endurance of the adults. To feed the young before the harsh winter fully arrives, the pack must patrol territories spanning more than 400 square miles, sometimes traveling nearly 30 miles in a single day while searching for food. Across the endless white snowfields, one of their rivals is the Arctic hare, a species capable of reaching speeds near 37 miles per hour. As the hare constantly changes direction through sharp, zigzag movements, the wolves do not chase blindly. Instead, they spread out their formation, cut off escape angles, and attempt to guide the target toward deeper snow where movement becomes more difficult. The first pursuit may fail, but for wolves, failure is never the end. Every slip, every lost track becomes information for the next attempt. In a place where winter leaves almost no room for mistakes, true strength does not come from a single burst of speed, but from the ability to learn quickly, coordinate precisely, and persist until the final moment. Wolves are among the most highly organized predators in the Northern Hemisphere, ranging from taiga forests and rocky mountains to frozen grasslands. With adult weights reaching around 100 pounds, they track scent, footprints, and shifting wind patterns through remarkably sharp instincts. Through precise coordination and strong pack discipline, wolves do more than create pressure. They keep entire ecosystems active, alert, and constantly adapting. Because of this, wolves remain a vital link in preserving the balance and movement of the wild. In the wild, dominance is measured not only by strength, but also by scent, tracks, and territorial boundaries. The grizzly bear is an opponent that very few predators are willing to challenge directly. An adult can weigh hundreds of pounds, run close to 40 miles per hour, and carry claws nearly 2 inches long that serve as powerful natural defense tools. Because of this, gray wolves rarely rush into direct confrontation with a grizzly bear. When winter drives temperatures lower, every unit of energy becomes increasingly valuable. Wolf packs often rely on harassment tactics, spreading out from multiple directions, moving in close, then quickly retreating to force the bear to constantly reposition itself. Encounters like these rarely produce a clear winner. They resemble a cold and calculated contest, where the bear depends on strength while the wolves apply patience, coordination, and sustained pressure. In Yellowstone, a smaller but equally agile rival of the wolf is the coyote. When a coyote enters wolf territory or approaches a food source, the pack immediately closes the distance and controls its movement. In the wild, maintaining control over living space can be just as important as the hunt itself. Ungulates have always held a vital place in the gray wolf's diet. In Yellowstone, elk remain one of the wolves' most important food sources, accounting for many of their successful hunts. But elk are far from defenseless. Standing nearly 5 feet tall at the shoulder and carrying antlers that can spread close to 4 feet wide, they are powerful enough to make even grizzly bears cautious during tense encounters. Yellowstone becomes a winter refuge for elk, where snow blankets the valleys and every movement drains valuable energy. As the herd pushes across deep snow, the wolves do not charge directly into the center formation. Instead, they burst forward in short accelerations reaching nearly 35 miles per hour, then quickly change angles to identify the weakest rhythm within the herd. The objective is never the entire group, but a single animal that falls slightly behind amid the chaos of movement. One wolf applies pressure from the flank, while another maintains pursuit from behind, forcing the elk to change direction across the heavy snow. Just one moment of lost balance can shift the outcome completely. The pursuit ends quickly, much like the unforgiving rhythm of winter itself. But nature sometimes creates opportunity in unexpected ways. A lone elk, closely followed by wolves, accidentally moves near a bison grazing ground. Driven by strong territorial instincts, the bison suddenly surge forward, leaving the elk vulnerable for a brief moment. The wolves immediately recognize the advantage. A rare source of energy like this can help sustain the pack through many difficult days of unsuccessful hunting. The intelligence of wolves lies in their ability to read the environment and adapt their strategy with precision. Watching a disciplined wolf pack in motion feels like witnessing one of nature's most perfectly coordinated systems at work. In North America, caribou are a symbol of endurance and long-distance migration. They often travel more than 1,000 miles each year, crossing deep snow, powerful winds, and vast open terrain with almost no shelter. An adult can weigh around 400 pounds, with wide hooves built for soft snow, thick fur for insulation, and massive antlers that stand out across the frozen wilderness. That migration route frequently brings caribou into wolf territory. Especially during winter, when energy becomes increasingly valuable, wolf packs do not rely on strength alone. They observe quietly, keep their distance, and study the movement of the herd with patience. Their gray-white coats blend into the snow, allowing them to close the gap before applying pressure to the herd. As the terrain shifts into rough snow ridges, confusion begins to spread. The caribou repeatedly change direction, while the herd formation stretches apart in the freezing wind. The wolves quickly accelerate, creating invisible pressure that separates the group. With careful timing, the hunters force an isolated target farther behind before moving in with precise control. The pursuit finally comes to an end across the endless white landscape. But when summer arrives, the grasslands reveal a different confrontation. As the snow disappears and the terrain opens up, caribou often gather in massive herds across open fields. Wolves rarely ignore this opportunity, especially when a younger animal drifts away from the group. For a lone wolf, pursuing a full-grown caribou demands enormous energy and endurance. Through persistence and remarkable stamina, the wolves gradually gain the advantage. It is another lesson of survival repeatedly written across the wild. The movement fades, but the order beneath the sea has been made clear once again. Orcas dominate through coordination, learning, and knowledge passed from one generation to the next. In nature, the most enduring form of power is the power to adapt. If you want to discover more moments of orca encounters and ocean predators, like and subscribe. And across the open sea, the pod disappears once again like shadows of the ocean,